Watch over their next two games, starting today with Townsville and then Adelaide Lightning following that. Do they belong in the top rung of teams competing for a top two spot, or are they in the next bracket below that? We'll find out today up against the Townsville Fire. Shyla Heal was outstanding yesterday with 22 points. We'll see the teenage sensation in action today, the Fire and the Boomers. Corbin Middlemass and Jenny Screen on hand. G'day, Jenny.
Nice to have me. I should say. Excited for this contest between the Boomers and Townsville. It's been 18 hours, I think, since the Townsville Fire hit the court last night in their win over Bendigo. Melbourne, however, I think have been struggling a little bit and haven't found that gel that they've been looking for that they had last year. So hopefully today's game, with the return of Tess Madgen, is going to make this an exciting contest.
We did the Melbourne Boomers game as one of our nationally telecast games just last Saturday against the Southside Flyers. They could not miss from downtown. They shot 16 threes. They went away to Mackay in the meantime and went 0 of 36 from downtown. So remarkable numbers, but they did it all without Tess Madgen, Jenny, who was missing due to this injury. Yeah,
pretty scary. I don't like to watch or see the re-injuries occur, but you can see that ankle, both ankles actually, in fact, tweak a little bit. That's caused her to miss the last two games, and you can see obviously the Boomers lost their last one to the UC Caps the other night on Thursday, but they've had 4 days recovery now, so I'm thinking with Tess back that gives them a little bit of resurgence and a little bit of a change up to the starting five this afternoon for the Melbourne Boomers. Could play interesting for them.
It's a fascinating watch. We'll get to that momentarily. The third member of our team is Megan Huswaite. She's roaming courtside for us. Megan, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Corbin and Screeny. Well, the Boomers are hoping their three-point shooting will improve and they can replicate something like they did against Southside last week. They are bolstered by the return of Tess Madgen this afternoon. I caught up with her a short time ago. Townsville, meanwhile, coming off that come-from-behind win over the Bendigo Spirit yesterday, and they have a pep in their step. I caught up with their returning veteran, Mia Murray.
We addressed the fact that we came out a little bit sluggish yesterday. We turned that around in the second half, so we'll be looking to bring that energy today.
How important is a strong start against a side like the Melbourne Boomers?
Very important. That's what we spoke about, that you can't take anyone lightly in this league. So they've got some size down low and some excellent shooters, so we'll be looking to take it at them early.
Well, Tess, you've missed the last couple of games with an ankle injury. Are you back and fighting fit this afternoon?
Yeah, you know, as soon as you step on the court, I'm going to be ready to go. So, you know, it's 100% in my eyes when I get out there.
And Townsville had a really good win yesterday over Bendigo. They back up 24 hours later. You've had a few more days rest, but what are you expecting from the Fire?
You know, we saw Bendigo got off to a great start against them last night, and we haven't had very fast starts, so that's something we're really going to try to do tonight, get out there. They did play last night, but they also run the other way on offence really well. So we're expecting a lot of dribble penetration, a lot of, you know, all their players can shoot the three ball. So we kind of play similar, I think similar styles, so it'll be a good contest.
It's great to have Tess Madgen back. Big numbers through her first two games, averaging 23 points and 6 rebounds. She's one of 6 in the Opal squad who are out there today, along with Ezzy Magbagor and Kayla George, 2 of her teammates, and the 3 for the Townsville Fire, of course, Lauren Nicholson, Shyla Heal, and Zatina Akuzo. There's the starting 5 for the Melbourne Boomers, Jenny Screen, and there's one name missing.
Yeah, there is. Maddie Garrick is taking position on the bench to start the game, but I don't think that's such a disappointing thing. We've known that she's great coming off the bench. Maybe that's the spark that they need. But Ashley Caratiana gets her first debut in the starting 5 for the Melbourne Boomers. We know that she can shoot well from the three-point line, even though they're shooting less than 30% for the season. Even all teams across the league haven't been great. But then we look at Townsville, they're going with the same lineup that they did last night. I've been loving the works of the backcourt with Shyla Heal and Lauren Nicholson. Watch out for the contest between the backcourt guards, especially with Tess and Nicholson going head-to-head. And then Megan McKay as well. She's been absolutely sensational. Great role player, does her job, bangs the boards, knows how to hit some bodies, and is just in the right spot at the right time. But I love the way Shannon is finding some gel within this team. They run some great continuity offense, and hopefully, even though they're a little fatigued today, they can come out with a good contest against the leading team.
It's great for the league, that end of round 2, the water cooler type conversation is really centering around two teenagers in Jade Melbourne and Charlotte Hill on the back of what she was able to do yesterday at such a young age, highly touted coming into the league, and then to still exceed expectations. Some of the shots she was making yesterday, just outrageous.
Yeah, absolutely. You've nailed it there on the head in terms of outrageous. The second half was great. Lots to learn in the first half, but this is the great thing about the WNBL in its 40th year. No imports, which means young players are getting the opportunity to show the calibre of players that they can be.
Both teams dark in the uniform, which is a little surprising. The Melbourne Boomers in purple, the Townsville Fire in black. We're ready to go. The opening tip, it's the Fire and the Boomers. This will help us just to try and determine a little bit of the pecking order early in the season as round 2 comes to a close. Townsville scoop it up through Nicholson. Here's Shyla Heel. Bounce pass through to McKay, back to Heel, trying to pick up where she left off. Draws the foul. Stella Beck called for the block, and she'll go to the line to shoot 2.
They did this well yesterday, running horn set or high pick and roll or handoff actions between Shyla Heel as the point guard, Megan McKay, even Nadine Payne, and obviously Stella Beck getting the duties of having to try and contain the young and upcoming Shyla Heel today. Melbourne Boomers have actually been great in their first 4 games, holding most teams to under 72 points. So it'll be interesting to see if they can do that today as well.
Yesterday's first time all season that Townsville have trailed at quarter time through their 5 games so far. Heel with the first 2 at the free throw line, starts the scoring. Catch and shoot scenario for Beck, off the window, no good. Townsville come up with it. 7 turnovers in the opening quarter yesterday for the Fire as Nicholson drives through the lane and lays it home for 2. Nice start for Townsville.
Thank you.
Caratiana amongst the starters. Tess Madgen back out there after missing the last 2. Here's Ezzy, shot goes up, doesn't drop. McKay with the rebound. Here's Nicholson trying to drive again along the baseline, guarded by McGraw, kicks it back out. Taken by Murray, shot goes up, draws the foul, and 1 to come at the line. And the vet Mia Murray with the deep 3. She can add 1 here. What a start for the Fire.
Gotta love a shot like that. Nice little step back. Ashley Caratiana did a great job, but probably hands down would say woman down in that situation. You don't do that with the calibre of play that Mia Murray is. She is lethal from that 3-point line. Great start for the Townsville Fire.
4-point play completed. The first 8 points for Townsville, who trailed at quarter time yesterday by 11 against the Bendigo Spirit. Extra pass, Caratiana in the corner, fills it up.
And the best way to punish a 2-3 zone is to do exactly that, is to drain 1 from long range.
First making 3 games for the Melbourne Boomers. Their 2-game road trip to Mackay, they went 0 of 36 from the 3-point line, having shot 16 threes the last time they were on this court in Townsville.
Isn't that the joys of sport? One day you're amazing, and then the next day you could be a pile of, well, I won't say the word, but you know how it goes, and that's the intriguing thing about this. But right now it's nice to see Melbourne on the board, and both teams seem to be in a little bit of a zone.
Oh, Mia Murray with back-to-back triples. And already Coach Malloy wants to have a chat. Brilliant start by Townsville. They were caught flat-footed yesterday against Bendigo, well, not today. They're on fire offensively.
Yeah, nice little turnout. Just got lost in terms of miscommunication on the defensive end between Kayla Francis and her teammate. I think it was Ezzy on the baseline, and then she's already nailed 1. Why not another?
Superb start for Townsville. Shannon Seabohm, their coach.
Up the line, so there's
Let's
no
listen in.
Post feed, elbow feed, so they can run handoff. We're fighting over the top of that, right? And then contest, we know which shooter's in the zone, right? So we've got to get switched on defensively, make that happen. Now, if they score, it's press attack and you're in the middle, flash hard to the ball edge. Right, so let's pick up our D here clearly because we're not close, right? Now let's come back. If we see zone, we'll go to dive. If we see man, we're in flex.
It's Guy Malloy, of course, the coach of the Boomers.
Interesting, we heard Tess Madgen before the game talk about how they haven't had great starts to their 4 games thus far, except for the Southside Flyers. And today is another example of that. You know, you can't come out lackluster, and Townsville have come out literally, pardon the pun, firing on all cylinders. The caliber team they are. They'll just calm it down a little bit now and hopefully get some more points on the board.
COVID sellout for all of their home games for the Townsville Fire. They've got about 960 in the building. There's McGregor trying to go to work in the low block, chucks it away in the double team. Here's Murray with 7 quick points. Chyla Heal to run the show. Kicks it out, shot from Payne goes up, again draws the foul, the three-point shooter. But then Payne is going to head to the line to shoot some more foul shots. Just
deja vu. Last time it was Ashley Caratiana. Here, nice little inverted screen there from Megan McKay. And then just following through a little bit too hard on the closeout, as we see here on the replay. Got to protect the shooters at all costs, and it sees Nadine Payne head to the foul line for 3 foul shots. It's got to hurt, especially when you're down by 8 points already in the quarter.
Megan Huswain is with us courtside. They're technically listed as the road team, but on their home floor, the Townsville Fire, a hot start, Megan.
Yes, and the crowd here, and I can say the home crowd, they're loving it. I'm just sitting next to the exercise bike, which Zatina Akuso's on again. Zatina, what about that start? I'll relay to you what she says for COVID reasons. Happy with that start, Z? Mia's got confidence early, Zatina says, so that's the words from Zatina Akuso on the exercise bike.
How's that for access? Zatina Akuso on the back of 21 and 5 yesterday. And all 3 made at the free throw line. To answer back, Magin, shot up, grabs her own board, kicks it out. Beck, extra pass to George, doesn't shoot. Magin, dribble penetration, out to Caratiana for her second 3, and again drops it from long range.
Got to give that credit to Tess Magin there, that dribble penetration through the middle, drawing and collapsing the D allowed for that kick out and long range shot.
Nicholson on the perimeter. Pulls up, top of the keyway, gets the shooters. Oh, they can't miss at the moment, Townsville.
No, Boomers are icing them on the pick and roll on the wing there, trying to not allow them to use the screen, but they've just got great poise, looking for the gaps, and a nice little jumper there by Nicholson.
George pulls up with a jump shot at the other end. Similar type of result. Off the iron and it drops. George with her first bucket. 8-point spread. Lauren Nicholson. Out to Murray. Thought about it, a step back off the dribble. Nicholson, guarded by George. Almost lost it. McKay picks it up, 2 left on the shot clock, spills it over the sideline. Last touch George, so catch and shoot scenario here with 2 on the shot clock.
Great D there by Kayla George, especially against the smaller guard type. Credit to her. She's been missed consistency, I think, in the first 4 games for the Boomers thus far this season.
Murray trying to get it into McKay. Critical touch on that from George, and shot clock expires, so Melbourne will get it back.
I love the fact that whilst this Townsville Fire played less than 18 hours ago, they're already up in full court press situation, trying to disrupt the Melbourne Boomers. Even Chyla Heath getting her first foul there with a little bit of a grab on the singlet. But we see another play, you're up by 8 already, and Zatina Akuso hasn't even hit the court. Exciting stuff for the Townsville Fire in the first quarter.
Well, she knows Ezzy McGregor very well, having played with her in Geelong in the NBL 1. Former housemates as well, as McGregor on the floor with the reverse layup. Melbourne trying to work their way back into this opening term. Heal at the other end. Lays it up, no foul called. Rebound to George. Up the floor to Caratiana. Drives to the hole, can't finish. Ooh, last touch by Townsville. So it'll be Melbourne ball, still in their front court. Here's Magin. Trying to drive through the keyway, puts a shot up, draws the foul, and gets the roll as well at the rim.
She was pretty pumped on that play. Part of me was like, test, pass the ball. But great job and credit to her here. Fights off one contender. Nice little forearm protection there by herself on the offensive end, and tough D by Nicholson, who was the defensive player in 2018. And a nice fadeaway jumper from...
Imagine left her foul shot short, surprised everyone, comes back to her. Here's George. There's going to be a foul called. Of course, Tess Madgen. Kayla George, plenty of history on this floor. Kayla George has a few championships playing here for the home team, the Townsville Fire, and Tess Madgen in more recent times with Townsville.
Yes, they do know this court very well, and Kayla George has played alongside the WNBL legend and I think 5-time WNBL MVP, Susie Baktovic, and so she knows this court inside out. And as does Tess, but Tess is having a stellar year, and you wouldn't even know at the moment that she's got an ankle injury, even though she's hunched over on the baseline. So good to see that she's fighting fit right now.
McGregor catches the inbounds. George up top. Beck dumps it back down to Ezzy, trying to go to work on Tatina and lays it home off the glass. Nice spin move.
Great assertive move, like you said, on the baseline there for Ezzy. She should be a double-double player in this league, and hopefully this is the start that she needs to generate that, to get that happening.
8-0 run for Melbourne, so momentum shifted a little bit here. How have they done at the Boomers?
Just a little bit more poised, probably a bit more disruptive, just like that on the defensive end. But, they're just looking after it a little bit more on the offensive end as well and getting some stops. So they're a caliber team. And, they're a lead or 10-point lead in the first quarter is not going to worry them at all. Maddie Garrick is yet to hit the court either. So it'll be interesting to see what she will add once she enters the game.
In the bonus, Courtney Woods fresh on the floor, nails both of her foul shots. Full court press on by Townsville. Madgen up into the front court. Townsville led by 11 early doors. Those foul shots stopping 8 consecutive points for the Boomers as Caratiana makes her way to the basket, lays it home through traffic.
Smooth. You've even had Nicholson coming across from the help D, but she just found a nice little step, Euro step to the right. Finish for Caratiana.
High scoring, entertaining opening turn, catch and shoot scenario. Another shot drops. Banging it down. And Nadine Payne, another basket from long range. Still 4:20 to play in the opening term. Madgen to McGregor, catch and shoot. Off the rim, and Nicholson pulls down the board. Nicholson goes all the way, off the glass, 2 more. Perfect 3 of 3 from the field so far for Lauren Nicholson, one of the game's true superstars. As Kayla George at the other end puts it in off the window.
Wow.
Trading blows at the moment.
We are indeed, especially on the offensive end. There's not much defense going on from either team right now, especially we've got just under 4 minutes to go, and both teams are around the 20-point mark.
Here's Shyla here with the step back. Just rims out. Last touch from Melbourne over the baseline. She just can create her own shot, Shyla Hill at such a young age, off the dribble. Saw her do that yesterday, which is a rare commodity in this league, just to be able to pull up like that off the dribble. Just hit some beautiful step-back threes yesterday.
She did indeed, and you can see there's been some great subs made by the Melbourne Boomers. Interestingly enough, that's their first sub in this first quarter, so great job by the Townsville Fire to have to guide Moy, to have to keep his starting 5 out there for 7 minutes. That'll be interesting to see if that worries them come the fourth quarter and fatigue sets in.
Here's Stephanie Reid, her first look from long range, and bangs that down too.
My oh my, it is a shooting fest out there this afternoon.
Garrick coming off the bench today. On the floor now for Melbourne. Caratiana getting to the rim again. Shot up. Melbourne recover the ball. Purcell kicks it out to Madgen. She nails it.
And that's the thing you can't do against the Melbourne Boomers. It gives them second chance looks at the rim because they will just hurt you.
Nicholson's bounce pass cut out. George comes up with a stop for the Boomers. George taking pain to the basket, out to Purcell, clean look for three, misfires. George the O-ball, trying to back her way in. Bounce pass back to Purcell, 3 seconds in the key. Turnover, Townsville will get it back, 26-21. Last start for the Melbourne Boomers, they had only 21 points at half-time against the Canberra Capitals, so better offensively from the Boomers. Townsville at the other end have been electric offensively. Floor wipers just bombing things up. We're right to resume. 2.5 minutes to go in the opening term. Great pass, Woods to Nicholson. Pops it in. Still 100% from the field. 4 of 4, Lauren Nicholson. See those numbers bottom of the screen. Both teams shooting at a great clip in this opening quarter. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Garrick wrestled from it. Stephanie Reid, great work. Jumps on top of the ball, and possession arrow is going to be with Melbourne.
Just a little bit of miscommunication between the two offensive players. They're not sure what they were doing with the pick and roll, handoff, back door. Just sees that turnover occur for the Melbourne Boomers. Apologies, Melbourne Boomers baseball.
Right to Madgen to George, away to Garrick. Garrick pulls up from long range as the board lights up. O-board to George.
Third O-board for Kayla in this first quarter.
Another look at the offense here for the Boomers. 5 left on the shot clock. Right. Trying to make her way to the basket. Puts up the prayer. It's not answered. McKay pulls down the rebound. Early advance up the floor. Woods on the bounce pass, trying to find Akuzo. Woods mops it up. 7-point spread. Townsville led it by 11 earlier in the term. Reid pushed back towards the halfway line. Back to Woods. Akuzo. Great wraparound pass, McKay. Easy basket. Tremendous team basketball. The Townsville Fire.
And that was sensational because they just steadied on that pick and roll. There was a bit of sting action. They wanted to double team the pick and roll. They exited out of it 2 passes ahead and found the open man. George
chucks it up, no good. Long rebound to Nicholson. Transition for Townsville, trying to make her way to the hoop. Kicks it back out to Reid. Swings it over to the weak side corner. Woods, the pump fake, misses the jump. Entertaining start, 51 points in the opening quarter. Townsville out by 9. Boomers had time for a 2-for-1. Not anymore. George, turnaround jumper off the window, doesn't go. McKay pulls it down and they'll get the last play here, Townsville, at this opening term. Reid with the handoff, away to Nicholson. 8 left on the game clock. Ticking towards quarter time. Up top to Woods. Oh, to Akuzo, slips through her hands. Melbourne will get it back with barely a second on the clock.
Apart from the turnover, it's been an entertaining first quarter here. Great job by the Melbourne Boomers there. You can see that they're not wanting the Townsville Fire to use their pick and rolls at all. They're pushing them away from them, which created the turnover.
Heaved up the floor by Beck, the last action of that opening quarter. An entertaining shootout. The high-scoring trend continue in the second term. We'll find out next. Townsville by 9.
Tomato. How many Big Macs did you have for breakfast today, mate? 5. Thank you for loaning me your shirt, by the way. This looks about the size you'd be wearing. Oh, Georgia Costa here. Crystal's here as well. Hello, Kelly. You guys come straight from the NQ Media Ball last night. Looking absolutely remarkably well. And still having a lemonade or two. Nice work, guys. Nick Tometto, Mr. Big Mac, they call him, up in Hinchinbrook.
Minty, I'm just thinking, man, we're on track for some burgers this afternoon.
We are on track for some burgers. Look, there they are down there. Can you see them? I can see them. I can see burgers. You know, I think somebody once said, he's a very, very good coach in the WNBL. No teams ever get 100 points or more in a game. So how about we give Big Macs away when we get teams scoring 100 plus? We've nearly done it 4 times, and we're not even halfway through the season.
And that's just the WNBL. The girls go out right now, high-scoring games, and they're saying to the coaches, you know what, we can put points on the board and give away free burgers to Australia, right?
All right, so hang on to your game day tickets. 100 points or more in a game, you get a free Big Mac. We might have one tomorrow, Benny, for breakfast. What do you reckon?
Highly entertaining shootout in that opening term, 30-21. It's Townsville's highest scoring quarter so far this season. They lead it by 9. They're 100% from the three-point line, 4 of 4. They're shooting 69% from the field. Hot start, the Townsville Fire. Megan Huswaite is with us courtside.
Was just listening into Shannon Seaboom's quarter-time address, and he was quite light up. There's no doubt Townsville understands the opportunity that they've begun to build in this game with that opening quarter. They're going to try and lock down on the O boards from the Boomers' point of view in this second term.
What was your take on that opening term, Jenny?
Shootout. It was absolutely brilliant basketball to watch here this afternoon to round out what has been a stellar round of women's basketball up in the north. And hopefully the second quarter is just as entertaining.
Shyla Heel trying to get a pass away. George picks her pocket. Boomers an early stop here in the second term. Purcell, the 5 Kiwi internationals in this team. There's a whistle here off the ball as Stella Beck hits the floor.
Black 15.
Want to see a lot more of that. There's the little to big screens happening. You can see here the shuffle cut, little to big, creates the congestion, but also can allow for perhaps a mismatch to occur if they have to switch. So hopefully we see more of that. But interestingly, Melbourne Boomers are 9 of 21. Townsville are 9 of 13. 8 more shots in the Melbourne Boomers. And as Megan Huswaite discussed, those O boards 6. That's where potentially most of those extra shots have come from.
Here's George down low, shoots the pass away to Wright. Not too many people were expecting that, including Izzy Wright, as it flies through her hands and over the baseline.
Yeah, lucky that didn't hit her right smack bang in the nose. But again, we saw that little to big screen, and it should have just been a nice little left hook shot. Not Kayla's something known for is using that left hand very often, but luckily it didn't hit Izzy in the nose.
Kate Gay's out there now for Townsville. Great bounce pass. Akuzo feeds McKay, lays it up.
Love that she's having a smile out there, especially in this second quarter. She was superb last night, as we discussed early on, against Bendigo, and starting off where she left off last night, just having a knack of knowing where to be and doing the little things well.
Back to that game-high advantage of 11 points, Townsville's way. And they extend it here as Shyla Heel runs around the pick, swings it up top. Catch and shoot scenario for Murray, left it short, and Purcell the rebounder. Megan Huswaite with us courtside.
Well, Steph Reed's been an absolute spark off the bench for Townsville in the opening game. She's just having a left wrist strapped on the bench, but we'll hopefully see her back into the rotation for the Fire shortly.
Thanks, Megan. First year up at Townsville after previously being with the Southside Flyers. Now caught on the offense. Take another look at this, Jenny Screen.
Yeah, just have a look at the arm of Kayla George as she gets a little bit of a hook happening with that left arm, and good call there by the referee as she tries to fight her way out of the pressure from the Townsville Fire.
So a big moment of the game here, even though we're still early. 2 minutes into the second term. Momentum seemingly again with Townsville at a game. High margin at the moment, 11 points. Shyla Heel Draws the defence from McMcGaw, swings it back up top to Gaze, down to Akuzo. Well, the seat fell out underneath her and the foul called against Akuzo.
Interesting, you had one referee calling the offensive foul, and yet the baseline referee was saying stand up to Stella Beck to get up. Interesting call there, but unfortunately it goes the way of Townsville. I'd rather we just let that one go, let the girls battle down hard and play, and just reward the hard work.
Tina Akuzo, big numbers for her yesterday. 21 points, 5 rebounds. Shannon Seabohm has to sit her for now. So Melbourne ball on the baseline. Madgett, McMcGaw, Beck, Garrick, Purcell, the 5 out there for Melbourne. Here is Maddie Garrick coming off the bench today. Dump it down to McMcGaw, goes to work, shakes the defender, can't finish inside the charge circle. Murray pulling down the rebound for Townsville. Devastating second half in transition yesterday, Townsville. Back into the slow play here. Shyla Heel goes to work. A mismatch on Purcell. The step back pulls up for the long range shot, doesn't drop. Garrick up the floor for Melbourne. To Beck, to Madgen. Draws the pick from McMcGaw. Still with Madgen, eventually a whistle.
Oh, that was a get out of jail foul there, unfortunately, by the Townsville Fire. They did a great job to disrupt Tess Madgen, and as we can see, it was almost a trap here. Great job by Megan McKay, and just Charlotte Hill lifting her hips up and not staying in stance there to allow Tess Madgen to be bailed out.
So Charlotte will sit. Lauren Nicholson comes into the game.
Huge offensive set here for the Melbourne Boomers. They're down by 11. Haven't hit a shot yet for this opening, or second quarter, I should say.
Madgen to McMcGaw. McMcGaw, some hesitation, puts it up eventually. Got the shooter's roll. Back to 9 points. Payne to Nicholson, back to Payne. Murray up top. Murray trying to drive on her way to the basket. Draws the foul.
This is the first game I've seen Mia feel really settled in and comfortable. We know that she is a phenomenal outside shooter, but a great penetrator and slash cutter as well. And coming back from having her first child and a year off last year, it's great to see her still being able to contribute. She's one of the eldest ones, I think one of the only over the plus 30 category for the Townsville Fire. The rest are pretty young. I think Nicholson comes in next at 27. So apart from those two girls, they're a young bunch of women basketballers.
Better and better each game so far, which is to be expected after a couple of years out, as Jenny touched on. Had 7 points yesterday, which was a season high for her, and she's up to 8 already here. We've still got 6:20 to go in the second term, and started today with that made 3 and the one to come at the line thereafter. Shot misses from Madgen, rolls out. Gaze swings it up the floor. Nicholson driving to the basket, draws the foul on Beck and finishes with the contact. Lauren Nicholson to the line.
Tough, nothing fancy, just determination. Rip through hard here, as you see, squared up, low rip, absorb the contact, and see her be able to do that and finish is all class. We don't need to be fancy all the time, just solid work gets you the points as well.
Lauren Nicholson up to 11 points, still 100% from the field. The true stars of the game, such a threat offensively, and that says nothing about how strong she is defensively. Of course, Defensive Player of the Year a couple of years back. As McMcGaw spins baseline, pops it in, answers back for the Boomers.
Ezzy McMcGaw doing a great job keeping her team within distance right now. It's still an 11-point margin, but you can just see Melbourne Boomers perhaps starting to get a little bit of momentum come their way, or not.
Nicholson's first miss. George thought she had the rebound. Gaze picks it from her. Shot up. That rims out 2. now called as McKay competes for the rebound.
Second efforts, great job there, as you saw by Megan McKay.
Chucks it back up top, Payne for three. Miscues the long-range jumper. Still at 11. George, mid-range Jade, no good. Nicholson in transition. Shot goes up and it drops. Great shot, Kate Gaze. Free in the corner. She doesn't miss out on those too often, and all of a sudden the game high margin extends to 14. Timeout called by Coach Malloy. Townsville all over Melbourne here, 39-25.
Changing the game since 1965. DJ Benny, what do you got?
Identification of the beat. That one easy rip, I think you were head turning. Someone's got to be there. On the wing guy, listen, you're too flat at the side. Be up the line to begin with. The catch is easy, they're into their offense. That's not where you are. Got it? Continue to talk. Right? We cannot give second shots. Let's grab rebounds and secure the ball. Okay, now we're going to be horns up. All right? Now continue to work inside. That'll be a good formula for us. Chip away at it, but we need some stops defensively. Right, now we're going to go, listen, we're going to go 2 all the time here till I call you off it.
Hey, know where the shooters are. Let's
Right,
go.
here we go.
Hoovers on 3, 1, 2, 3.
And it is really what Tess just said, know where the shooters are and get some stops, as Guy Malloy made mention of. That's where it's at. We've got 5 minutes to go. Townsville sitting at 39 points. They're heading towards a 100-point margin in this game if Melbourne Boomers don't do something collectively together on the defensive end.
One's metric and one's imperial. It's just like saying you're 6'2" and 180.
Megan Huswaite courtside. You're just close to that Melbourne huddle, and keeping an eye on Steph Reid as well, who had her wrist worked on a short time ago. Any update, Megan?
Steph Reid's still here on the bench. She's hoping to come back on soon, but seems to be okay. So that's good news for the Fire in the second leg of a big weekend.
Basket for Melbourne, the other end of the floor. Nicholson! Tremendous three, catch and shoot scenario, almost a metre back from the three-point line, and it drops.
14 points for her. You saw Townsville Fire in, Melbourne Boomers were in a 2-3 zone there, and just Townsville Fire taking advantage of their miscommunication and poor closeout on the wing and draining another long three.
McGregor trying to take it to the hoop at the other end. She's fouled en route. Lauren Nicholson, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 86% from the field.
Stop it. Stop it. But I mean, it's just not her. I mean, when players start like that, and as we saw with her and the likes of Mia Murray in the first quarter, it allows the other players coming into the game, like the Kate Gazes, who's shooting at also 60% for the season this year. We know that she's able to do that. It gives them confidence as well, and you can see that it's just oozing through the Townsville Fire lineup. 7 of 12 as a team from, 6 of 10, I should say, 60% from long range in this opening 2 quarters.
Mixed results for Ezzy. Nicholson for 3 more. Front of the rim, misses. Madgen pulls down the rebound. George trying to answer one back for Melbourne. Misfires.
And that's what I think they're lacking right now. I think they're relying too much on the outside shot. They've only been to the foul line once in this opening 2 terms. They've got to get some penetration, get physical down in the low block perhaps, and get themselves to the foul line, get some easy points.
George tries, Gaze rather, tries for another 3. George with the rebound as it skims off the rim. 9 3 balls up, the 28 field goals. George, some points down low here. Bit more of that, Jenny.
Absolutely. Simple play, nice little horns pick and roll at the top, a dive cut, and the intelligence and the nous of Kayla George to dissolve the contact and finish with a nice chew.
Payne to Gaze, back to Payne. She's going to put it up, and it dropped. Oh, Nadine Payne for 3 more. The hot shooting display continues. continues from the Townsville Fire.
Hot indeed. I couldn't fault Kayla's D, to be honest. I thought her stance was good. She had her hand up, but Fire are definitely on fire this afternoon here. But great job by Tess Madgen there to get herself to the foul line with that left-hand penetration. Something that she's known for, ladies and gentlemen, is that left-hand penetration to the rim.
And a fascinating watch for the first couple of weeks of the season, the Melbourne Boomers. They've got the win of the year so far, having been the only team to beat the loaded Southside Flyers outfit, a game in which they caught fire themselves from long range. They hit 16 threes, and from there, scraped home against Perth, albeit without Madgen, and then outplayed really by Canberra the other night. In the end, there was a little bit that separated the two teams in the finish. Canberra by 17. Let's listen into the huddle.
The weak side's going to pick up the roll, right? And whichever player pops, or sorry, the other player staying with the pop. Okay, so if this person pops, right, that defender stay and take that pass away. This defender take away that pass. Let's keep it in the trap, right? So just blitz at one time, okay? Yeah, be ready for that 1-2-2. Just break press. Yeah, the opposite. So if the ball goes like this side of the floor, it's that weak side corner. Just do it one time, take them out of it, right? Just check before we start our row. Check if it's man or zone. I think they've gone back to man, right? If they have, go double again. Right, here we go.
Townsville! Like double again.
No, like double. Sorry. Yeah.
They're getting a good shout out.
Some clarification right at the end with Shannon Seabohm.
Yeah, a nice composure there by Shannon. I think he's really enjoying this team. He kind of didn't own his team last year. They were pretty much done when he took over the role. But this year, I think he's been able to recruit some great talent, both inside and outside, obviously, beyond the three-point line. And the trick for them now, that in this last couple of minutes, he talks about blitzing and having a look on the defensive end, what they can do. They can play with that a little bit, because they're up by 14, or I should say 13 right now. But they're just got to be careful. You don't want to give Melbourne Boomers that sniff in this last 2 minutes heading into the halftime break. So let's see what happens here.
They've led by as many as 15 to Townsville Fire in this second quarter. 12 the margin at the moment. Caratiana called for the push. One of a number of mums that are in the hub across the WNBL, of course, being played across 3 cities in Mackay, Townsville and Cairns. I'll tell you a little more about one of our WNBL mums coming up at halftime with Megan Huswaite. Hub's challenging enough, I'm sure, but being a parent of a young child in there would have its own unique challenges as well. 13-point game, 1 of 2 for Murray at the line. Farnworth. Away to Madgen, off the dribble. Magmagor, catch and shoot for 3. Yes! Ezzy Magmagor for the dribble.
Not known for her three-point prowess, but hey, look, I think she's the only one that's keeping the Melbourne Boomers in this game. We're finally down to almost single digits, 10 points now. It's the closest it's been since the first quarter, and another steal there by Kayla George. Let's see if they can get it under single digits.
George brings it up the floor. Magmagor kicks it out. Caratiana, loose pass. Farnworth scoops it up. Melbourne gets something going. Tess Madgen trying to create. 6 left on the shot clock. Trying to take pain off the dribble. Great defending. Out to Magmagor for back-to-back threes. Doesn't go. Scooping it up, Mia Murray. Townsville back on offense in the black singlets. Great pass, threads the needle to Nicholson. Catches and lays it home.
That's just smart basketball. There's a nice little staggers away happening on the weak side. Lauren Nicholson has the ability to read her player, knows that she's on behind her, curl cuts on that and gets a nice little finish. But here, Melbourne Boomers need a good offense here, get some ball movement.
Caratiana misses the 3. George grabs the rebound. There's a foul call.
Black 11.
It's going to be on Kate Gaze. Megan Huswaite call time.
The good news keeps coming for the Fire with Steph Reid checking back in now after having that wrist taped.
University of Buffalo graduate. Of course, in New York State. Stephanie Reed. Her stay there, the team went to the NCAA tournament for the first time. A stint in Buffalo. Taylor George with some made foul shots, and so now back to 11 points, closing in on half-time. Here is Stephanie Reed. Well, dribbles inside, puts up a little runner, handover, I think, from McGregor on the way through, and Melbourne get the stop. Here's Hezzy, catches down low, trying to go to work on McKay, gets rid of her, jump shot up and in.
Keep going to the well until the well runs dry, is what most coaches would say. Hezzy is just being supreme in this first half for the Melbourne Boomers, shooting at a great clip as well.
At 10 for the quarter, she's up to 14 for the game. Here's Nicholson, trying to take it all the way to the hoop, unsuccessfully. Magin, down to George. George lays it in. So this is better for Melbourne, getting some more points in the lane, and all of a sudden it's back to 7 points. 3-possession game, timeout called by Shannon Seabohm.
Yeah, we talked about it. You know, the last time out was at 2.5-minute mark. Townsville were up by 14, and just like that, with less than 30 seconds to go, we're back to a 7-point margin, just through simple, I guess, miscommunications on the defensive end for the Townsville Fire and some missed shots also. Hopefully they can get a good run here and look to lead them into the halftime break.
You commented a little earlier, Jenny, about having their bigs play big and being able to get in the paint, back their way in, and try to get some points through that avenue.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really important. Both teams are great from within the paint, and obviously Melbourne Boomers, I think, have been doing a better job at that today. But hey, when Townsville Fire are shooting at such a great clip, it's not really necessary right now. But what is necessary is getting this last play done. We saw yesterday they came out of a huddle against Bendigo and executed a well-run play, which saw them get a really nice finish at the rim, and hopefully we'll see that again here with Shannon.
Leading scorers in the game, 16 for Lauren Nicholson. Going at 70% still from the field, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Here she is, Star Opal.
Yeah, she's one of the girls that will be in the squad, and obviously has to push. And also, as Tess Magin, she's enjoying playing up north. She's averaging 18.3 points a game and well above her 14 points from last year with Adelaide Lightning.
Leading scorers for Melbourne, their 2 bigs, McGregor 14, George 11. Stephanie Reed up into the front court. That wrist taped, as Megan told us. Swings it away to Nicholson. Single digits on the shot clock. Gage dribbles inside, jumper up, doesn't drop. McGregor, the defensive board. So final crack at it here for Melbourne to try and bring it down to 2 possessions at halftime. Magin off the dribble, step back, three's good. Tess Magin with the bomb right on the stroke of halftime, and it's a 4-point game after Townsville led by 15 earlier in the quarter. All the momentum with the Boomers as they head into the dressing room at halftime. Tess Magin with the exclamation point on that half of basketball, Jenny Screen.
That's got to hurt. She came looking like she was going to go over the pick and roll, came back right to left crossover rather, and drained that long 3. A 14-point lead in less than 2.5 minutes drops down to 4 points. Townsville Fire have got a lot to rectify if they want to push this lead out, but equally Melbourne Boomers also have got some things to work on in the second half.
Megan Huswaite with her namesake, Megan McKay.
Well, Megan, they've brought it back to 4 points. It feels like the momentum's begun to swing a little bit. How are you going to rectify that in the second half?
We've just got to lift our defence. We can't let them keep driving into the paint with no consequence.
What pleased you most in that first half of the Townsville Fire?
Our shooters are shooting the ball beautifully. If they can keep that up, we'll be on for a good game.
The key to victory after half-time?
Pushing the ball, I think this is a really good one. We've got to keep running. We've got to get on the boards and just play good, solid offense and stop them in D. So everything.
There. Thanks for your time, Meg.
Thanks.
Megan Huswaite with Megan McKay there at half-time. A 4-point advantage for Townsville. Great shooting numbers on both sides of the floor at the moment. Jenny Screen, 49% Melbourne, 52% Townsville.
Yeah, great contributions from both teams and from a lot of players. When you look at the stats, there's nothing really between either team. The rebound count, the turnovers, they've been great with their possession game as well. And assists, they've been sharing the ball around. It's just coming back to that shooting percentage and a few more shots going the way of the Melbourne Boomers off their offensive rebounds, which they have 7 for the half. But otherwise, hey, a great game of women's basketball.
Lauren Nicholson's been tremendous. Both sides of the ball again. One of the best two-way players in the game. 16 points at 70% from the field, and there's a few of her highlights. 14 points for Ezzy Magpagor and Kayla George, working their way back into it, the Melbourne Boomers, after trailing by 15 points a little earlier in the quarter. So momentum with Melbourne as we head into the half.
You know that I called you. I called too many times. You can call me baby. You can call me anytime. You got to call. Give me one reason to stay here, and I'll turn right back around. Give me one reason to stay here, and I'll turn right back around. Said I don't wanna leave you lonely. You gotta make me change my mind. This ain't fool, I can love you and give you what you need. I said this ain't fool, I can love you and give you what you need. Too old to go chasing you around, wasting my precious energy. Give me one reason to stay here, and I'll turn right back around.
That is beautiful. Townsville, of course, the home venue for 36 of these games in the 41st edition of the WNBL, split across 3 cities in the north of Queensland, including Mackay and Cairns, where we'll see games throughout the competition. It's half-time in what has been a highly entertaining half of basketball between 2 teams predicted to be playoff contending teams, 47-43. It's the Townsville Fire, Jenny Screen, who led by 15 points at one stage in that second quarter. At the half, they led it by just 4.
Well, if we wanted a contest, we definitely have it today, with the Melbourne Boomers coming back, especially in that last 3 minutes of that second quarter. But boy, oh boy, what a shooting contest from the Townsville Fire, and also the Melbourne Boomers with their 3 stars, Kayla George, Ezzy Magpagor, and also Tess Madgen into double digits. For the Townsville Fire, they're riding on the coattails of Lauren Nicholson right now, but it's going to be an exciting second half. I'm really intrigued to see what's going to happen.
In the meantime, let's find out a little more about our mums in the hub. Megan Huswaite has been up there in North Queensland, catching up with a number of our sporting mums in the WNBL, Megan.
Well, Corbin, there's 5 mums with bubs in the WNBL hub this year, including Steph Blitzarves, returning Opal and Championship player who's back in the WNBL this season after having baby Arlo last year. And it's a family affair at the Southside Flyers. Steph is married to Chris, the brother of star Sarah Blitzarves. Little Arlo and Steph have been together in quarantine and now in the WNBL hub. And I caught up with mother and son. Take a look.
We were always going to just see what happened, whether my body decided I could or couldn't do it, and so far, fingers crossed, it's been okay. It's a bit of a balancing act. I mean, you forget about yourself sometimes, but you really have to get on the recovery, and after he's gone to sleep at night, it's a lot of rolling and resting and making sure that he's drinking water and I'm drinking water. So yeah, it's been a balancing act, but it's been great so far. So he's actually really enjoyed it because there were so many other people, and he's finally socialising and getting to know other people, which is a relief because we were like, oh, we're going to have an isolated baby that's not going to get along with other people. He only saw Chris and I for such a long time, but he's really loving it and thriving, and now that we can get out and about because we've done our quarantine, it's been the best. It is very special, and I mean, we can have a little play group. We couldn't have that in Melbourne because of COVID, so it's nice to be able to have some freedom, and Arlo can finally socialise with other people, which is great. Southside has been fantastic, so even the training aspect, he was coming to training for a while, and they've just been really accommodating for him, which makes me feel a lot better because you're always kind of worrying in the back of your head, what's happening, what's he doing, is he all right? But I feel just a bit relaxed when I'm with Southside. They're really taking care of us. You're stuck with everyone, getting to know what people like, what people don't like, if you need to leave people alone, if people love constant company. So it's been, yeah, a real bonding thing because we didn't have a really big pre-season. It was really kind of good for us. You've had a lot of auntie cuddles. You love Auntie Rara, don't you? And yeah, it's been really good that there's been a bit of like a familiar face before we got to the hub, that he had someone that he could go to rather than just coming into a whole bunch of new faces. But yeah, so far it's been really, really good. We definitely are missing Daddy, which is tough, but FaceTime is a beautiful thing. Arlo knows that he kisses the phone now. So it's a bit beautiful, but still sad at the same time. I'm really happy the season's going ahead because basketball is the longest standing elite women's sport. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we do all the right things, recover our body well, and we can hopefully be successful there. Yay! Hopefully there's a lot of clapping for the Flyers this season. Do you think?
It's a great story. It's great to have Steph back in the league with baby Arlo. A shout out to Chris as well, who I'm sure's watching back at home, along with the entire Blitzarves and Cumming family.
I think it's great. You know, there's 5 women in this league this year that are playing, 2 today, Mia Murray and also Ashley Caratiana, mums with bubs. And it's great that we have a sport and a league that facilitates the ability for these women to play professional sport at the highest that they can and still be able to be a mother. And it warms my heart that their children get to see their mums, not only their dads, be able to take the court and play something that they love.
Absolutely. It's half-time in the WNBL. We've had a great half the basketball.
Waited a little bit, and I thought.
Commence Corbin Middlemarsh, Jenny Screen, and Megan Huswaite is with us courtside. Megan.
Spoke to the Townsville coach Shannon Seaborn out of half-time, really happy with that first half, albeit the final 3 minutes where they really let the Boomers get back into the game. So he believes if they can get back to what they did for the majority of that half, will hold them in good stead.
Caratiana shoots an air ball. Surprised everyone, including Shiloh Hill, who was left standing underneath it. Melbourne get another go at this. And it comes, Caratiana puts up, shot, back, put back, good. More points for Melbourne.
More points, and Stella Beck's first 2 points for this entire game. Hopefully we'll see a little bit of more from her, known for her defense probably, but great job on the penetration she's known for as well. So hopefully we'll see that in the second half. Great cut by Lauren Nicholson.
Nicholson recovers it along the baseline. Through the hands of Payne and now Heel. Remember her third quarter yesterday, there was plenty of that. Shyla Hill with the step back, long range jumper, bangs down the triple, her first of the game.
Yeah, we knew after the game yesterday she wasn't happy with her first half. Probably the similar situation here for her as Stella Beck drains a long three. She must have heard me in commentary talking about her offensive abilities, but it'll be nice to see if Shyla can get rolling in this second half.
Trading blows both ends of the floor. Shyla Heel just exploded in the third quarter yesterday, cutting along the baseline, chucks it up top to Murray. Bounce pass to McKay, got rid of one, got called for the walk. Shuffling underneath the bucket.
Just got to review the shot from Heel. Over here, I'm just reviewing for a 2 or a 3. Can you come with me, please? Just reviewing a shot for a 2 or a 3.
Yeah, I actually thought it was a 2, but, you know,
reviewing a shot for a 2 or a 3.
Could be wrong, but great job by the referees to be able to use this ability that we have with technology now. I'm sure Townsville don't want it reviewed. But let's have a look here on the replay.
Yeah, that's what I see as well. Some good stuff.
I think that's the right shot.
Is that all we've got?
I hope that's not what the referees are watching.
Yeah.
But here we go. We'll have a look here. Number 4, Shyla Heel, as she does a nice little inside out, step back. Oh no, 3. I think it's probably a poor angle, so you're going to have to go with probably the referee's first decision.
Confirming the call is a 3. Confirming it stays as a 3. Call stays, 3 points.
So it will be a 3, as you touched on, Jenny. The referee's original call stands.
Give it back. We'll give it to her because the step back 3 on the right hand is a pretty tough shot anyway, especially from the 3.
7 made threes for Townsville. They're shooting the 3 ball at 54%. George with the handoff. Magin back to George for 3 at the other end. Off the rim, and Payne with the rebound. Shyla Heel. Away to Payne, and now Nicholson. With the hands of Murray. This is Heel. Chucks it back up top. McKay has a clean look, doesn't take it. To Nicholson. Dribble penetration, runs into trouble. Time running out on the shot clock. Shot up and it drops. Great work, Nadine Payne. Catch and shoot scenario, her second triple.
Breathing a sigh of relief there are the Townsville Fire. Way to make something out of nothing on that set.
Used most of the 24. Kayla George trying to make good with the reverse layup. She's fouled. She'll go to the line.
And that has worked well for them in the first half. 24 points have come from within the paint for the Melbourne Boomers. So why wouldn't you continue to go with that when you have 2 Opal stars in Ezzy McBagor and Kayla George getting it done for you down low? Interesting, we haven't seen Satina Akuso a lot this game. Perhaps the quick turnaround and her body still adjusting to returning after a year off with her ACL rehabilitation. It's a bit difficult for her right now, but she's only played 7 minutes, and it'll be nice to see her bang down low with the 2 big girls from the Melbourne Boomers.
Coming off a high output game yesterday, 21 and 5. Her numbers, Satina Akuso. She's 21 years of age. Her and Ezzy McBagor very much generation next for the Opals. 4 points from long range. Nice 3 from deep, and Mia Murray just gets better every minute that she's out there this season.
Yeah, nice little exchange there on the weak side with Megan McKay having the ball and the low block. You see the 2 big girls going at it again. Another offensive rebound, 9 now for the Melbourne Boomers. It's their second chair points that we talked about that have gotten the Melbourne Boomers back into the game. But you can also, their intensity on the defensive end as well has gone up a notch at the start of this third quarter.
Winning that category by 6 as McKay caught in a tangle with Magin and McBagor. Fouls eventually called. Megan Huswaite courtside.
Well, whatever the commentator's curse is, Screeny, you've done the opposite, because Zatina Akuso's just checked back in for the fire. She got the call. She's been on the exercise bike again, so she had to quickly hop off that, and I'm glad her legs saw her well through it, because she had to hop off it very quickly to get back into this game.
I just called into Shannon and told him to make that sub. No, jokes aside, it's nice to see her entering the court again. We knew the effect that she had last night, so hopefully we'll see the same again here. But great job by the Townsville Fire and Megan McKay there, draining those two.
7.5 minutes for Akuso, 2 fouls. Back to 6 points. It did get within 2 of the Melbourne Boomers earlier in this third term. Tried by 15 in the second quarter. Caratiana. To Magin, first game back from that rolled ankle. Back to Magin. Around the pick from Maglador, puts up the prayer, no good. It's a foul call as they peak for the rebound. It's going to go against Melbourne. Ezzy's going to be called for that, so 16 points for Maglador, 64% from the field. That's her third personal foul. Had a bit of foul trouble already, Maglador, through her first 4 games with Melbourne in the new season. Was back from the WNBA, now a champion in the big league, of course, with the Seattle Storm. It's Beck and Heel involved in a scrap for the ball.
Yeah, I think Stella Beck has done a great job on Shyla Hill in this game. Trying to rattle her a little bit, use her length a little bit more, and then you've also got the likes of Kayla and especially Ezzy in that pick and roll scenario that can use their length against Shyla Hill to their advantage, and being the size that she is makes it difficult, but obviously we know she's got to step back, but great job there by the Boomers. We can just see the momentum shifting a bit, even though they're down by 6. Their defensive intensity has started to shift. And you might see another stop here.
We've seen Beck guard Nicholson a lot in the past in the matchups between the Boomers and the Lightning. Of course, Nicholson first year in Townsville as she cuts to the bucket here. Is fouled, putting up the shot, heads to the line. The and one to come.
Great job there. Nice little back cut from Laura Nicholson. That's what I love about her game, is her IQ. Nice little bounce pass, cheeky little pass there by Mia Murray, but the IQ of Lauren Nicholson, it's really hard to value that. You don't see that in the stat sheet. She's drumming it up with 18 points. Great offensive rebound there by Mia Murray. But that's the thing that makes this... Oh, is that an offensive foul? Well, that was unfortunate. Getting back to Laura Nicholson. IQ of her is really great, and she's done an awesome job thus far in this game.
I'm not going to be able to help with an explanation for you there, Jenny. 5-point spread. Is George, down low to Maglador. Trying to turn and put the shot up, unsuccessful. It's actually an 8-point spread. Townsville 60, Boomers 52. The back of the Nicholson basket, here's Shyla Heel. Swings it over to the weak side, finds Nicholson, shot up again, just running with the defender, Magin, and finishing through the defender. Up to 20 points, Lauren Nicholson. Oh, back called for the wall. So another turnover. Townsville will get it back. Momentum with the home side here. The Fire all of a sudden have it out to 10 points here midway through this third term. Melbourne did close within a single possession earlier in the quarter. Murray with 12 points. Best return of the season so far on the offensive end as McKay tries to dump it down low to Akuso. Out it goes, Melbourne ball.
Love to see some more ball movement, quicker, faster action from the Melbourne Boomers down here. They're just a little bit hesitant on the offensive end, looking to, not sure whether they want to shoot or catch it. They're trying to drum it in. Let's see them if they can get some good screens here and get some looks towards the rim.
Maglador through the lane, out wide to George, shot up, misses. Rebound to Murray, who pulls it down. Third rebound for Murray to go along with 12 points and 3 assists. WNBL veteran, of course, championship winner a number of times over, 3 of them including a grand final MVP with the Fire. Here's Shyla Heel driving, scoop layup, hits the hardwood, no call. 5-on-4 back the other way. Garrick just pulls up, misses. Kuzo the rebound.
I'm finding Garrick not her normal self. Perhaps it's the ankle, perhaps it's the shift onto the bench, but normally last year you'd see her just come down in transition and pull up and not even think about taking that long-range three, but you just saw that little bit of hesitation in her and you just question what's going on. Is it physical or is it more the mental game as well? Maybe perhaps lacking a little confidence.
Oh, shot clock violation. Caught everyone a little unawares. Time runs out on the Fire. They lead it by double digits. If you're just tuning in, they led by 9 points, the Fire, at quarter time. Got out by 15 points at one stage in the second term. The Boomers have closed the gap to 4 at halftime. Within 2 earlier in this third quarter, Townsville on the back of 20 points so far for Lauren Nicholson. Got it back out to 10 here, 4 to go in the third term. Corbin middle mash, Jenny Screen, Megan Huswaite, Garrick tests out her jumper, misfires. Nicholson ups the tempo up the floor. Hill rolls off the pick. McKay, push on the way through. They get the call here, Townsville.
Nice little contest there. Megan McKay is a very strong, robust body, and interesting to see her fall to the floor there, but side ball nonetheless for Townsville Fire. This is going to be the interesting, this last 3 minutes of this third quarter. We haven't even talked about the fatigue factor for the Townsville Fire, playing less than 18 hours ago last night in their win over Bendigo, and how that's going to come into effect. A lot of their starting 5 have played big minutes. So it'll be interesting to see how Coach Shannon Shebon plays this out in the next few minutes and also the fourth quarter.
Nicholson to McKay. Quick whistle. McKay catches. Push is called on Penina Davidson. That can't be right. Fouls on Magpagall. My apologies. I heard purple 12 come through, but of course, Ezzy, number 13, called for another foul. So that's her 4th personal for Ezzy. Megan Huswaite's with us courtside.
I'm a little worried, guys, down here. I'm sitting near the Townsville bench, and Kate Gaze is actually giving me a bit of a run for my money with the sideline duties. She was just saying before the game she's interested in pursuing some media post-career, and she's very yappy down here, aren't you, Kate Gaze? Very cheeky, but watch out, Screeny. I think she's after our jobs.
Megan McKay up to 7 points. Got a keen eye. You might be able to see Megan just sitting top of screen there, having the chat to Kate Gaze alongside the Townsville Fire bench. They'll be pretty happy at the moment. 11 points clear. Izzy Wright draws the double team. Purcell, Garrick. Way to magic. Board lights up again. Shot doesn't get away. Shot clock expiring. 11 points the spread, Jenny Screen.
Yeah, 11 points. Great job to Townsville, and they need this lead, especially as we spoke about with their fatigue. But again, Melbourne Boomers just a little bit unassertive in terms of the offense. Who's going to shoot it? Who's going to take it? Where they want to go. Kayla George had a great presence there in the low block early in that offensive set, and they just missed her.
Oh, loose pass, trying to find Woods in the passing lane. Garrick picks it off, tries to lay it up in the open floor. Can't finish. Woods pulls down the rebound and draws the foul.
Oh, great job there by Maddie to be out in the lane and get that steal and potentially change the game with that one play. But unfortunate here is she just misses that shot, and then unfortunately the frustration kicks in and she gets that foul and sends Townsville Fire to the foul line down the other end.
I mentioned Garrick earlier. Her numbers against the Caps during the week, 1 of 10 for the field. She register a point here, having played 10 minutes, just the 1 rebound.
but we know what she's capable of. You know, we know how good she was last year and has been that star for the Melbourne Boomers. She's the co-captain with Kayla George, and I know it's going to take her time, and because of her ankle, and she had 3 months off in the off-season, but, you know, they need her now. There's too many games per week and too many wins on the line that are needed in order to get that top 4 finish in the WNBL.
Mix up defensively, George the easy basket. Boy, they need it, Melbourne. Back to 11 points. Garrick, does it look a more, obviously she's coming off that ankle surgery, is it more a confidence thing or a physical thing at the moment?
I think it's probably a bit of both. And we also know that Maddie Garrick is very much a confidence player and thrives on that. And if shots aren't falling, it makes it very hard to ride the confidence train. So, you know, once she drains one and the second one, hopefully she'll get it going. But it's also on the defensive end as well for the Melbourne Boomers. They've got to do a better job if they've got any chance to get back within this game.
Charlotte Hill takes a seat. Megan McKay headed to the foul line to try and extend Townsville's lead.
One shot.
Like silence inside the building, Townsville Stadium. Megan McKay 2 of 2, so back to 13 points the Flyers' way. Answered the challenge here from the Boomers, who came at them in the early part of this third term. Got within 2. Townsville have led wire to wire so far. George dumps it down low. Here's Davidson, shot up, scored.
Simple, well-executed set there by the Melbourne Boomers. Great job.
Kuzo on the perimeter, goes herself, turnaround jumper, misses. George the rebound. 3 ball today for Melbourne, 6 of 19. Didn't have a make in their trip to Mackay.
There you go.
Can that get her going? Maddie Garrick from the corner knocks it down.
And just like that, we're back to an 8-point ball game. When you feel like the Townsville Fires held momentum this entire quarter.
Nicholson swings it to the corner for Gaze. Back to Nicholson on the basket cut. Shot goes up, doesn't drop. Beck the early advance, away to Magin. Takes on Akuzo. Into the lane to Davidson, and Davidson off the window. Back-to-back baskets. 2 in quick time at least. Fresh on the floor for the Boomers. Back to a 2-possession game. Nicholson just rattles out. George pulls down the rebound. So 2 baskets for Davidson, the 3 ball for Maddie Garrick. As you said, those 7 quick points mean all of a sudden, instead of being at 13, the spread's 6 as we tick towards 3-quarter time. George, mid-range J, doesn't drop. Akuzo the rebound. Final seconds before 3-quarter time. Can Nicholson beat the buzzer from the mid-court? Misses. That'll do us through 3. Townsville still lead at 67-61. They've withstood a couple of challenges so far for the Melbourne Boomers. Can they do so heading into the final term? Last quarter action coming up. It's the
Is this what we call an activation?
Get involved. Yeah. See, the kids know what to do. Grown-ups are struggling a little bit with the old balls in the air. North Queensland sun and beach at Christmas time. Yeah.
I tell you what, Nick Tomato would have no trouble with a beach ball. Don't worry about that. Down there with his Big Macs and his lemonade and his beach balls. Here we go. What about on this side? How good is this going? Come on, last chance. Let's get all the balls up. Come on, quick, quick, quick.
One of our Opal squad members, Lauren Nicholson, putting on a show here in Townsville. 20 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 60% from the field. Leading the way for the Townsville Fire. Her side up by 6, 67-61 over the Boomers. They have led this game by as many as 15. Came in as underdogs. Melbourne Boomers, some work to do. Final quarter action momentarily. Megan Huswaite courtside.
There's no doubt the Melbourne Boomers still feel they're well and truly in this game and can win it. The message from Guy Malloy was, let's start strongly here, let's get organised and let's hit the shots we want to get.
And it'll be interesting to see if they can do that. As Guy said, let's start strongly in every single quarter of this game. They haven't. That's where the lead has been blown out to upwards of 14, 15 points for the Townsville Fire. So let's see what they're made of here.
Here's Kayla George up top to Madgen, back to George, turnaround jump shot up, misses. Garrick tries to recover it, Hill comes up with the ball.
Hill slides it down.
Townsville with the chance for the first points here at the final turn. Megan McKay, top of the keyway. Hand off to Nicholson, the chief scorer. Back out she goes. Oh, it all opens up for the Payne, who's able just to lay it home. It's a passage through the keyway, and 2 more for the Fire, out by 8 points.
Yeah, Kayla George won't be happy with that closeout. Just really sloppy there. But on the offensive end, she's doing a great job with 15 points and 10 boards to go with it.
As Garrick tries her hand from long range, hit a 3 late in that third, misfires. She'll get another go at it. Garrick passes to George, reverse layup misses, second attempt no good. And McKay, the defensive board for Townsville. Fire in the black, the Boomers in the purple. As George knocks it away. Hill pulls it back into the front court. Drive, shot up and finishes. Shyla Hill, the youngest player on the court.
Loves the hardwood. Nice little dive after that finish, but tough finish on that left hand.
Foul caught on the offense.
Got to give credit to where credit's due. You know, let's have a look though in terms of the fouls for the Melbourne Boomers. That's the big one, that top one. Number 13, Ezzy Magbagor, sitting on the bench with 4. The rest you don't even have to worry about, but that hurts, especially when Ezzy has been so effective tonight for 16 points for the Melbourne Boomers. Guy Malloy has to run the gauntlet here and see if she can be smart enough to stay out there, especially in this last 8 minutes.
Payne to McKay, handoff. Shyla Hill, step back, Magbagor with the block shot. Got up there, swats it away, comes up with possession. Out to Garrick. Melbourne trying to transition this into points. Here's Magbagor, shot up and it's good. So Ezzy having an impact both ends of the floor.
I love watching her. One for Australia.
I'd have to agree with the commentator there on the sideline. I love watching her play. Without a doubt, as you see the energy ramping up here from the Melbourne Boomers with another steal to the hands of Stella Beck.
8-point game. Melbourne trying to ride some momentum here. It's a foul caught on the way through as Madgen and Nicholson both hit the hardwood.
Again, that left-hand drive from Tess Madgen. Tough contest there, but correct call in the end there by the referees.
Lauren Nicholson called for the foul. Her second, 20 points, 60% from the field. 5 boards, 4 assists, her stat line. 17 of the 18 completed games this year have been won by the side leading at 3/4 time. It's Townsville, of course, a 6-point advantage. They've led all afternoon. Ezzy tries to find a way through, kicks it out to Beck. Garrick for the triple, misses everything. Oh, there's a foul call out after the loose ball. Well, they called the foul on Ezzy here.
No, I don't. Oh. I think it's just out of bounds. It's getting pretty slippery up there. And obviously, with the moisture and humidity that is North Queensland, something we don't get here in Melbourne, but I'm pretty sure it's just a baseline out of bounds.
Now keep going, please.
A little bit sweaty here.
Keep wiping, please. It's quite wet.
Melbourne will keep possession.
Speaking about Melbourne, and it's exciting considering we are in Melbourne, that finally restrictions have been lifted for COVID here, and especially for the basketball community and the like. With it's been almost 250 days since junior basketball has been able to be partaken in Victoria, so exciting times tomorrow when the youth and potential future WNBL and NBL players get to take the court once again and start playing. It's been a long, long 8 months, Corbin.
Absolutely. It's great news. The basketballers right around Victoria. The country overall has done a tremendous job, of course, during difficult times, and the rest of the world to hold up to comparison to that. The Melbourne Boomers through Davidson, trying to put the shot up, misses. Ezzy Oborn, put back, no good. Payne the rebound for Townsville, tries to give it to Murray, lost it. Oh, Nicholson, the passing lane at the other end. Trapped in the backcourt at the moment for Townsville, and Shyla Heal will bring him up.
A few missed opportunities there for the Melbourne Boomers, as you saw Guy Malloy hold his head in his hands there. That could have been a very important passage.
3-possession game. Lauren Nicholson off the dribble, drops it.
And that's what hurts. You go from an 8-point game to potentially a 6-point game with a score from Melbourne Boomers to then a turnover and down the other end. And Lauren Nicholson does what she's been doing all night and just hurting you and draining those shots like she has with another one there on the replay.
She's up to 22 points, a spectacular display, 63% from the field. Lauren Nicholson leading all scorers, a 10-point margin, 6:28 to go. We've got our mic in the huddle with Coach Malloy.
Right? The game's not going to be won in the next 2 plays. Keep our heads. Keep our heads. Don't panic. Follow what we've got to do. All right. Now, this play here, we're going to go fist one, but try and get to the rack. All right? Don't settle for jumpers. And then rebound from the weak side. So first pass will go to you. All right. Defensively, stay in the ice white, except for Payne. All right? You understand? In the middle, we're in a blue. All right.
We got 3, 1, 2, 3.
So that's the Melbourne Boomers huddle. One woman who isn't there is Chelsea D'Angelo, the 20-year-old who's due to play her 4th season. Ruptured Achilles back in June. It's a cruel game sometimes, isn't it? Professional sport, and so she'll be watching back at home, and a shout out to Chelsea watching on.
Yeah, it is cruel. I mean, Chelsea's won. Clay Thompson just did his in the NBA the day of the draft, tore his Achilles after missing last year with an ACL, but Chelsea has many years left in her, and we look forward to seeing her back on the court soon.
Megan Huswaite was keeping an ear in on Shannon Seabone. Megan?
He urged his players to put the foot on the throat. Wants an improved effort on D as well, but they're very aware that Ezzy Magbagor is on 4 fouls.
They close this out, Townsville. Akuzo up against her former housemate, Magbagor, tries to lay it in over the top of Ezzy, pulls down the rebound. She wins that battle. A WNBA champ, Ezzy Magbagor, cutting through the lane here, pops it up and in. 8-point game.
You got to think in a couple of years' time, when Ezzy starts to be at the peak of her game, Zatina Akuzo from the Townsville Fire, when she starts to find some great fitness, because we know how athletic she can be. That's probably not a great display right there. But we know she has the capabilities to dunk it. Can you just imagine the WNBL, perhaps in its 45th year, if those 2 women are still playing in the game? Perhaps with not those kind of passes, though, from the inbounds, though.
Great hustle from Stella Beck. Rory Zakuzo out of it, chucked it away, and now Magic cutting to the basket. Easy lane. Back to a two-possession game. Halfway through the final term. Lauren Nicholson off the dribble. Jump shot's good. Does it again. Lauren Nicholson up to 24 points.
All class. And let's give credit to where it's due to the Townsville Fire. They've shot almost 20 less field goals than the Melbourne Boomers. It's just going to be interesting to see if they can hang on in this last 5 minutes. But to shoot 20 less shots and be in front is astronomical.
Akuzo chucks it up off balance, unsuccessful. They've missed a few from close range too. If you look at their shot chart inside the keyway and McGregor on that last trip down the floor. Missing one, she'd expect to get. Madgen loses the handle, cutting through the lane. Jump ball to call.
Nice little cheeky hands there from Shyla Heal to come from behind Tess Madgen. That's probably one area of her game as she starts to settle into the WNBL. And is Shyla Heal, we know that her capabilities on the offensive end, and she's so young, 19. It's going to be amazing to see her career flourish, but also got to focus on the defensive end and start to develop that part of her game and become that two-way guard, especially not only domestically, but you would consider in the years to come internationally when she wears potentially the green and gold.
Thoughts of Jenny Screen. WNBL action, standalone game to complete round 2. Boy, it's been an eventful round 2. There's been plenty happen. The fixture's been reworked. While Shyla Heal just drives all the way to the rack and lays it in. Back to 10 points Townsville's way. The 19-year-old says, look, I've got this, and just takes it all the way to the hoop. Lays it home to give them some breathing room again. Townsville back out by 10.
Nice little cheeky hesitation there outside the three-point line. Just got Stella Beck out of her stance and probably too open, to be honest, in her positioning, defending Shyla Heal, and can't give that kind of guard with that speed that opportunity.
Thank you very much, Bernie. That's one I've definitely got to add to my list. What else don't we know about Gatorade?
Actually, other side.
Shannon Seabone mic'd up, coach of the Townsville Fire.
Nads, Shy, Mia, right? Go pick away for Loz, throw it, right? Nad, your corner here. Shy, you're going to go and down pick for Z, right? We're up into this high ball screen, right? Now, and then we'll come and Spain it, right? So you set the pin down for Z. She's sprinting into the on ball with Loz. Come and Spain, come off. Z, you roll, right? Shy, you pop. Now, if we can't get to the rim and throw it back, you've got shot. If you have space, you can play, but look in. If she's open, punch it in, we'll get a layup out of that, right? Here we go. Layup. Good job, girls. Good job.
Let's see if they can execute what Coach Seabom has drawn up, and it looks like a little bit of a down screen. Little to big with Shyla and Zatina Akuzo in it to try and perhaps draw the mismatch. And as you hear, he just wants to pump it in, get to the foul line. They've done a great job of doing that tonight. 18 of 22 from the foul line compared to Melbourne Boomers, 6 of 9 from the foul line.
They mounted a few comebacks, Melbourne, throughout the game and got within 2 points in that third quarter, but had every answer so far, the Townsville Fire. And hold on to a 10-point lead here with 4 to play. Here's Ezzy just outside the charge circle, trying to make her way to the hoop. And Zatina comes up with it for the Fire.
Here's a down screen we were talking about. A bit of a rise up. And then the re-screen.
Heal. To line it up from long range. Shyla Heal with another highlight. What a weekend she's having.
They had both options there. She had the nice little shot that she took, which was massive in terms of the context of the game, but also Zatina down low, ready and waiting. But great confidence from her.
Madgen at the other end, shoots the 3 ball, unsuccessful. Beck dumps it down low. George. Spin move off the glass. McGregor reaching over the top, swats it down, but straight to Shyla.
And that's probably the difference, if we're to break it down, is the movement on both teams. Townsville have the ability to get the ball through hands, set some screens, get some moving to allow the defense to shift and change. But down the other end, it's a bit stagnant. They pass it in, no one's moving, no one's cutting. And to me, that's really the difference between the both teams. You can see here they want to ice, double team the pick and roll, but get out of jail free card there with a hands foul.
4 fouls on George, 4 on McGregor. George sits for the time being. Bounce pass through the lane to Shyla Hill. Has star written all over her. More points in this final term with the game on the line. For the second day in a row, the 19-year-old standing up with the game on the line. Townsville by 15. Oh, Garrick, lucky not to be called for the walk. Out to Caratiana, driving, shot up, misses. Rebound to Payne.
This is a big win if we talk about, you know, not over yet, but let's see if she can drain another one.
She was missing Shyla Hill with a deep three, a clean look at it. What a special talent.
I'd say a great screen there from her teammate to allow that opportunity to be open, but it's all the hard work in the off-season being able to, oh, it's a Tina cleaning up Stella Beck. For allowing Shyla Hill those points, but definitely miss half-time player, I think. Shyla, you know, yesterday she showed she wasn't happy with her first half, and same here, only had 5 points at half-time, has come out 10 in the second half.
Just let us know when the game's on the line. Shows up, shows off, stills the show. Shyla Hill, big second halves, back-to-back days. Townsville headed for back-to-back wins as Garrick drains a 3 for Melbourne down the other end. 16 points, the margin. Final 2 minutes. Shyla Hill's up to 15 points all of a sudden on the back of the big final turn. Driving all the way to the rack. Plays it home again. Shyla Hill with a dominant final quarter.
You wouldn't think that they played less than 18 hours ago, the way that they're playing, the energy, their commitment on the offensive end, but also on the defensive end. And, you know, 4 of their 5 players in the starting lineup have hit double digits and have been great contributors across the game, but also the likes of Akuzo coming off the bench. She hasn't done much in terms of the stat sheet, but has had an effect in terms of being able to bang bodies and the like.
It's pretty hard for young kids that come through in their teenage years that have a high billing and high expectation placed on them. We know that their stars coming through to exceed expectation, and I feel like Shyla Hill's done that this weekend. Jake's Green, her 2 performances in back-to-back days to be able to raise the bar and come up with these sort of games.
Yeah, she works hard. She's, you know, it's even harder with the name on the back of her shirt. Her dad being the great Australian boomer that he was, and that adds another level to it. But she's taking it all in her stride. She's got many, many years ahead of her, and it's all a learning process, and she's thriving up there in the north under Coach Seabom.
Mentioned yesterday as a kid growing up playing basketball in the early 90s, there was Caratiana, the long-range 3. There was kids running around basketball courts across Australia trying to jack the ball over their head like Shane Hill in his unorthodox shooting fashion, and it's great to see another heel coming through, and there'll be boys and girls around the country, I'm sure, watching this, running out into the backyard, into the local courts, wanting to be Shyla Hill.
Let's hope so.
15-point differential. Conventional wisdom in the WNBL suggested that there were 3 top teams. We had the Flyers, we had the Boomers, we had the Capitals, and then there was that next bracket of teams competing to get the last spot in the playoffs. Well, this may just flip that narrative on its head here. The Townsville Fire, second leg of the back-to-back, have led start to finish.
Yeah, like, it goes to show that anything's possible, but also, you know, get a couple of injuries and your season could be very, very interesting, especially in a season like this one, as Caratiana drains another long 3, perhaps too late. in the game. But in terms of the season, you miss a couple of games, that could be your season over because it's going so quick. Teams are playing 3-4 games. With Townsville, this is their, I think, third game this week, perhaps even fourth. Melbourne, this is only their third game. And then next week, you've got to look who they're coming up. I know these two teams play each other again and the schedule's been changed, but still early. I wouldn't be too panicky if I was the Melbourne Boomers.
Pay very close attention to the Townsville Fire. 12-point winners. They go wire to wire to beat the Melbourne Boomers. Townsville 87, Melbourne 75. Shyla Hill with a big final quarter, finishes with 17 points. 26 for Lauren Nicholson running the show for the Fire today. Nicholson also with 5 rebounds and 6 assists. Meanwhile, for the Melbourne Boomers, 20 for Ezzy McMcGaw, 15 for Kayla George. How did they do it, Jenny Screen?
I think a great team effort. You know, you just rattled off the stats there. For their second game in less than 18 hours to be able to shoot a clip of over 55% from the field, especially, 11 of 19 from long range is huge. And this is probably what they needed and they wanted now that, they go 4-2, I believe, for their record. So exciting things ahead, but they've got a big week coming up in round 3.
Was everybody talking about the teenager Jade Melbourne not long ago? Well, Shyla Hill proves that there's another teenager that we should be focused on the back of dominant displays 2 days in a row. She's with our own Megan Huswaite.
She is the teenage sensation of the WNBL, and for a second consecutive day when the game's on the line, Shyla Hill has stood up. How does it feel hitting those massive shots to get your team over the line, Shyla?
It feels really good seeing the ball go through the net. It's just really about sticking to our plan all 4 quarters and staying with it even if you're not playing well at the start.
That was a massive performance. You led from the outset, but they came at you a few times. They're a star-studded team. Does that give you some big confidence to knock off the Melbourne Boomers?
Yeah, it's a really big confidence booster, but I guess we can't get too high on wins and too low, sad on lows. Yeah, anyways, yeah.
Well, you can get high on the wins this weekend because you've gone 2-0, backed up 18 hours after yesterday's win over Bendigo. That is a defining weekend for the Townsville Fire.
Yes, we're a bit tired, but we have a day off tomorrow, so we'll go get our recovery in, look at the film again, and keep building each game.
You play with a smile on your face. I reckon that's almost the best part. Are you just loving it out there, Shyla?
Yes, I really love this team, and I love playing under Shannon. It's awesome. I'm really enjoying this season.
And we are enjoying watching you. Congratulations, Shyla and Townsville. Enjoy the aftermath.
Thank you.
She's super fun to watch, and we're going to have a great time as basketball followers, Jenny, watching her career unfold, I'm sure, in the years to come. A big win for the Townsville Fire.
Absolutely. When we look at the stats, there's not much between both teams except for that shooting percentage. And look, Townsville Fire had 20 less field goal attempts than the Melbourne Boomers and was still able to come away victors tonight, or this afternoon, I should say. Even though that the Boomers had 38 points in the paint and 15 second chance points, Ezzy McMcGaw with 4 fouls in that fourth quarter really hurt the Boomers.
It was a fine coaching display too from this man. Shannon Seabohm is with Megan Huswaite.
Happy but not satisfied.
Shannon's just telling me he's happy but not satisfied. How on earth can that be the case after a 2-0 weekend, Shannon?
No, credit goes to the girls. We probably, Bendigo were really tough against us yesterday and we didn't match their intensity, and, that's what we challenged them with today, coming off, a game last night and short turnaround, and just really proud of their effort. And I think we've shown that if we play the way we want to play consistently, we can compete with the top teams in this league.
You had to come from behind to beat Bendigo yesterday and had to fight off Melbourne today. Does that give confidence to this new young group?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're learning every game. And the girls have been great to work with. They're very coachable. I'm loving coaching this team, and I think if we just continue to improve, hopefully we'll be around the mark at the end of the year.
Well, there's been a lot of talk about you making the Final Four in the end of the season, which is in a couple of weeks, actually. But That's a big win today. That's a big statement, knocking off a team that's played in the last 3 final series. They've got some big stars in that side. That's got to give you plenty of momentum.
Yeah, definitely. But, you know, we understand the environment we're in, and, you know, any team can beat anyone on any given night. So we need to make sure that every game we turn up, we come to play, and we play smarter each game. And, you know, I think if we do that, we're going to be in great shape.
And what's it like coaching Charlotte Hill?
Oh, it's a lot of fun.
She's a star. She's led the way for you the last 2 days and got you to a win. She's just a teenager.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I think that's the thing. Age is just a number. You know, she's got one of the best work ethics of any player I've ever seen, and, you know, she's hungry to learn, and I think she's going to just get better and better.
Well, we look forward to seeing that as she continues to develop in the WNBL. Congratulations, Shannon, on a massive weekend. Enjoy it.
Thank you very much.
Shannon Seabohm with Megan Huswaite, the Townsville Fire. They get themselves to 4-2. Jenny Screen, as we take a look at some of these second half highlights, there'll be a lot of Shyla Hill coming up. She finishes with 19 points. It's pretty outrageous if you've just sat down and watched that. If I was to say that may not have even been her best game this weekend.
Well, no, it was only the second half that she really showed us, and probably even that fourth quarter. For me, you know, apart from Shyla in the second half, it was Lauren Nicholson. She led from the front with that 11 of 17 from the field. She was phenomenal, both ends. If I'm being honest, that two-way guard, and she's definitely putting her hand up in terms of the Opals and the Opal squad, especially with Tokyo in 2021. But credit to where credit's due, and you can hear it in Coach Seabohm, never happy. A coach is never happy, even if they're winning, and it's exciting to see what this Townsville outfit is going to be able to achieve in not only round 3, but for the duration of what's left in this season.
We talked a bit about Lauren Nicholson early in the game. There's Shyla's last bucket, that long-range 3. As the girls take a moment to cool down, but Lauren Nicholson's display again, just excellent. 24 points. She's having an outstanding year, and she should be someone that's in the MVP conversation. She had 20 points yesterday, backed it up with 24 today, and averaging 20 plus on the season so far through 6 games.
Yeah, she's definitely up on her average and from last year with the Adelaide Lightning. Loving the weather up north, obviously, and you know, I think the style of game for these girls, especially the likes of the backcourt, there's a lot of staggers, there's a lot of curl outs and turnouts for these girls to be able to explore, and a lot of spacing. And when you've got 2 big girls inside, like the likes of McKay and also Mackay rather, and also Zatina, it makes it easy because they set really good screens, they give you spacing, and they give you targets, which allows for penetration as well.
So got Nicholson and Hill in the backcourt. They got Akuzo and McKay up front.
And don't forget Mia Murray as well, who also had a great game, especially in that first quarter tonight with 12 points, 3 or 4 from the field.
It's like Noah's Ark. They've got 2 of every animal there. They just had such a loaded lineup. It sort of makes you think, what are they missing? They could be a real player in this season yet. We'll tell you more about the makeup of the competition and what's to come next. We'll be back to wrap it all up. But the Townsville Fire, 87-75 over the Boomers. That's their best win of the year next. Back to wrap it up momentarily.